Our story starts with a mega-plot 19-year-old girl going back home late at night. Just then, a car drives closer. Then a hand grabs her inside and runs immediately. They are a bunch of ugly, disgusting losers who couldn't raise any checks. So they found another way to clap some cheeks tonight. The ugly-faced driver is panicking as well. They told him they were just going to pick up some girls, but he didn't know that they were going to do it literally. One of the kidnappers tells him to just chill. He will get his chance to clap her cheeks too, but he's more afraid of his own cheeks if the cops catch them. The kidnapper leaves him and goes back to start smashing. Just then, the driver stops the vehicle suddenly, hardly taking his breath, and says he can't do it. But the girl is the one to come out. Asking why he stopped, they have no time. The guy is frozen in his place and asks what's going on. So she tells him it's better not to look. She got a little wild back there. And they all died, including whoever was his friend. Then she orders him to drive her to the location she was going, and warns if he ever dares to scream, she will shock him with her mommy milkers. The guy's stomach can't keep up anymore, while the girl talks on the phone to someone called Mr. Shitto. The guy looks around and sees human corpses everywhere. He panics and runs away. While running, he sees a clean area and wonders why it's cleared like that. That's when a voice comes to his ears saying, "That's because it's a ring arena." He sees a dude standing and rushes to him asking for help while explaining everything to him. The dude tells him that this is probably the work of other Ryanthrope, and further explains that they are modified humans with beast fangs that surpass mankind. Even so, the ugly face guy screams at him, asking what type of nuts is he eating to be this high. This gets the dude angry and his eyes turn red. And then his body starts glowing yellow and growing fangs and claws, almost making the dude shit himself. He transforms into a half lion, then strikes at the guy. But suddenly that girl jumps in and saves him from the strike. The lion guy explains that he was helping her to clean out the garbage, but she tells him that he tried to clap her cheeks, so she isn't done with him yet. Her name is Hitomi, and she's going to fight against that lion guy named Leo. But since the odds are a 100-0 against her, they're gonna make the guy place a 10 million bet on her, without even his approval. The lion asks if he even can pay that bet, so she tells him that he has some organs that fetches a high price in the black market. He tries to escape and go home, and accidentally grabs her plot. So she punches his face and tells him that he should be thankful that she isn't going to slice his meat into pieces like his friends. The lion jumps to the ring while the poor guy just want to know what's going on. Hitomi explains to him in a short story if she loses, he dies. Which makes things worse for him. How can a girl beat a beast like that? But that's when her body starts to glow and grow a fur, claws, and fangs. She's half a beast too. Hitomi starts walking toward the lion, mocking him. She says that the King of King title has been there for a while, and she's interested in getting the Kingslayer title.
Nice.
But Leo disrespectfully claps her to the wall and catches her mid-air, then starts smashing her with his punches. She tries to cut him, but he dodges. Then she tries to retaliate with a kick, but he uses her as a bat to kill some rats on the floor. However, the girl isn't stopping her attempts, but nothing works against the lion. His punch overwhelms hers and sends her flying, then tries to smash her into tomato juice. But the girl didn't even blink. He gets angry and roars in the arena, making that guy fall before running, and then he goes back on Hitomi trying to make his tomato juice again. This roar was the lion's way of showing domination and spreading fear in his prey. Suddenly, 3 of his claws disappear. He asks the girl how the fuck she isn't crippled in fear after his roar. She spits his claws and asks what does fear means. She never experienced this feeling in her life. He replies that it's impossible for a living being and tells her to reveal what type of beast she is. She is the Radel, the most fearless animal in the world that doesn't give a fuck about any predators, even the lions. She mocks the lion for not just being this ugly, but a dumbass as well. This makes the lion attacks her fiercely while she is just chilling there. Then suddenly she slashes his arm before jumping into the air. Then the lion falls to the ground with blood splashing out of him. There is a satellite lens directed at this ring arena, streaming it to the rich people who were gambling on the winner, and now they can't believe their eyes. A man with glasses starts talking to someone saying that this is his greatest creation, the brute Radel, and an old man starts laughing to this and licks the screen of Hitomi's bloody face on it. The junkyard is filled with corpses now. Even the poor guy and the Radel girl steps on his dead face, saying that this is what a rapist deserves. That's when he wakes up from this nightmare. He is back at his flat, but his hands grab something bouncy. It's that girl Mommy Milkers, which makes him scream in panic. She wakes up warning him to not scream like a bitch again, and now he remembers that all this wasn't a dream. Yesterday, after she slashed the lion, she came forward to him to get rid of the only witness. Unexpectedly, he jumped at her, thanking her for saving his life from this beast, then started asking about her wounds. They should treat them before they scar. That's when she gets a phone call. She rushes and says she's gonna take care of him, but the caller says something that stops her, and that's how the guy was forced to show her back to his room for some reason, and they fall asleep from exhaustion after that wild night. She tells him not to worry, she was about to leave, but not before doing something. She wants to eat some sweets, and now she looks like a normal cute girl, not close to that wild beast from yesterday. She suddenly stands and bends her head, apologizing for what happened yesterday. The guy says that it's okay, but she wasn't talking to him. It's that man with glasses, Mr. Shido. He bets Hitomi's head, saying that she did well, and her character turns 180 degrees. Mr. Shido sits down and introduces himself to the guy. He is Hitomi's guardian. The dude tries to introduce himself, but Mr. Shido says Yuya Namoto, and then spits every single detailed info about him. That's his way of telling the dude that he's f***ed. To not leave Yuya more in the dark, he explains what this thing from yesterday is about. It's an old underground fight club that was running for about 400 years by the 4 rich families in the country. But after the war, the economy collapsed, so they invested more in the gene therapy to make the fights more brutal. And they got the Therianthropes. And now the underground fights is called Killing Bites. It's Mr. Shido's job to make sure that Killing Bites is running smoothly. So they get rid of his friends and made it sound like a car accident. Upon remembering this, Yuya bends his head and apologizes for this. He didn't know that they were rapists. But Hitomi gets angry and tells him to stop acting innocent. She's sure he was beating his meat in the driver's seat. But Yuya denies that. This makes Mr. Shido decide that he should keep Hitomi with him, further explaining that he's gonna be now the only investor in Brute Radel, and so she's gonna be his bodyguard from now on, and Hitomi can't say no to him. Then he gives Yuya the back of money that he earned from yesterday's bet with his body organs, and walks away. Back at the flat, Yuya can't believe that he has 100 million, no matter how many times he counts it. He asks Hitomi why she doesn't go to school, and she explains that she took a leave after some people tried to clap her and tore her uniform into shreds. She notes some stuff for Yuya to buy, and when he refuses, she warns that she's gonna slice his meat next. On his way back, Yuya starts to think that he has a mega plot girl living with him now. He's gonna get laid soon for sure, and that's when a girl calls for him. She comes closer, saying she wants him to look at something, making him more puzzled. She reveals her Mommy Milkers suddenly, and tells him to look if something is wrong with them, and the whole simp really falls for this. However, he doesn't realize until something sharp penetrates his leg. The girl is actually other Ryanthropes. She wants him to pay for looking by spitting every single info about Brute Radel. But Yuya stays silent, so the girl warns that he will have to handle a double penetration next. That's when she hears Hitomi's voice behind her back saying, "Come and ask me yourself." Hitomi jumps and dodges all her shots. Then she appears behind her back, saying it was easy to bait someone out with this loser. This triggers the girl, and she fully transforms to show her real beast form, a porcupine with its quills that penetrate any predator. The porcupine girl's plan was to kill Hitomi's only investor so she can't participate in Killing Bites. But Hitomi shows her real form as well, saying, "So you are basically a living toothpicks." This triggers the girl to attack, and Hitomi then runs around dodging her shots. But she ends up surrounded, and the porcupine girl jumps in the air and storms her with quills, till she is buried in the dust. She stands there mocking how a weak like her defeated Leo, then looks back at Yuya to penetrate him. But Hitomi's voice comes to her ears, thanking her for the massage. The porcupine girl can't believe this. Her needles can penetrate not only men, but metal as well. She doesn't know that Hitomi's radial skin is so thick that only the chosen can penetrate her. The porcupine girl attempts to storm her again, but Hitomi catches her mid-air with her slash, and they both fall to the ground, with the porcupine's blood on Hitomi's claws. She goes to end her miserable life, but Yuya tries to stop her from committing a murder. That's when the porcupine girl stands up again, aiming to take Yuya's life with her. But suddenly, a large fat guy shoulders her into the trees. The two stands there looking at him. That's when he finally starts to speak. These needles aren't even affecting him. It's like toothpicks for this big body. Then he goes to Hitomi and asks if she's the Radel, the one who defeated Leo. He suddenly bends down and begs for her to help his faction. Back at Yuya's flat, the fatty treats his wounds well. He should be able to walk again. However, Hitomi asks him to explain himself now. He introduces himself as Ikanasuke Akajima, a member of the Ishida Zaibatsu, one of the 4 old Zaibatsu that runs Killing Bites. He's here to ask the Radel to join them and become their ally. But Hitomi immediately says no, and he asks why, and explains to her that gaining allies will help her protect Yuya and prevent something like this accident from happening again. But she says she isn't joining any shit, cause she's the strongest. That's how Yuya realizes that she's way too stuck up. The Radels are the only animal that hangs around the hunting grounds of the predators and even steal their prey. And these motherfuckers also get angry when they get caught like they own the planet or something. Yuya tries to tell her that he prefers more people to protect him, but this makes Hitomi angrier no matter what they say. Suddenly, Yuya's phone rings with an email notification, which makes Hitomi change her mind instantly. It's Mr. Shido. But the fatty misunderstands that Yuya is the one who can control this brutal Radel. They both sleep in Yuya's place. He can't even find a chance to beat his meat at night now. When the morning comes, Yuya wakes up to a very nice view, the gates of heaven in front of him. Hitomi tells him that she has orders to stay beside him all the time, which means she will be going to his college with him. At college, before the lecture starts, Hitomi's friend, the main character from another anime that every man of culture knows, comes to ask what's wrong with his leg.
What is that thing?
And from his experiences, he knows that it's a girl who did that to him. So he offers to teach him the right way to do it. Then suddenly Hitomi voices out asking who is this guy. The guy is shocked to see a high school girl beside Yuya. Yuya achieved something that he himself, the MC of every H anime out there, the only man that the losers beat their meats watching him on action, the living legend, couldn't bring a high schooler to the lecture with him. He feels defeated and goes to sit in the back. But Yuya feels sympathy for the fallen comrade and tells him it's okay to sit beside them. When the lecture starts, Hitomi thinks it will be good to pay some attention. But she is shocked to see the reality of college life. The prof is too old even to speak clearly, and none of the students is even caring to listen. At the bath, she starts to think about this. These people are having an easier life than she had. While drowning in her thoughts, a girl's voice comes to her ears. She sees a girl peeking at her and asks if she likes the view from up there. The girl introduces herself as Iruza. She's from the same Zaibatsu as that stripper girl from yesterday. Hitomi mocks her, asking if she wants to smash down here. However, Iruza says she wouldn't mind that. Then she suddenly steals her gate's armor and jumps back. What actually got Hitomi's attention is that she dodged her attack from that point-blank range. She was even able to throw a counter. However, Iruza runs after getting her trophy while Hitomi tries to catch her. Outside, she crashes into Yuya that can now see them. The gates of heaven are open. And that's when Iruza mocks Hitomi to follow her again. She is so fast that Hitomi with her transformation hardly can keep up, till suddenly Iruza makes a turn from an impossible position and jumps on top of Hitomi. Her body starts to transform. She is a cheetah, the fastest mammal in the world. She can't believe how could Hitomi defeat Leo. She lacks power and speed, and even her strong defense is weak at some points. Suddenly she attempts to cut Hitomi, but blood spreads and she jumps back in surprise with an injured hand. Hitomi spreads her flesh and stands up saying that power and speed don't matter. Only the one with the sharpest fangs wins. These words trigger Iruza more. She wants to eat her whole now. She can't hold it any longer and runs toward Hitomi, but suddenly a tree falls to block her way. It's a guy with sunglasses and a bear man beside him. He explains to Iruza that Hitomi did join one of the Zaibatsu temporarily, so she is participating in the Killing Bites Destroyal, and since the competition is in a week, they aren't allowed to engage with each other before that. But suddenly Hitomi attacks him, but she finds herself facing the bear instead. She doesn't think twice and attacks him as well, but Iruza stops them. Hitomi wanted to just kill the dude because he talks much shit, and the dude jumps from the tree he was hanging on, and takes his leave since he delivered the message. From a far distance, there is someone watching Hitomi's cheeks. They are requested to assassinate the Radel who defeated Leo in the Destroyal competition. But before that, they think it would be nice to clap these cheeks. Later that day at the manga club, the members are shocked to see Yuya with 2 girls. They think he did manage to make his own harem. They are jealous of him. And then the girls start an argument that doesn't take long and evolves into a word fight. This makes the situation worse that even the legend himself has to interfere. Bro ain't letting these cheeks go this easy after they entered the wolf den, and drags his weapon out. It's not the brainwashing device this time, he just wants them to cosplay some cute maids with cat ears, and Yuya agrees to this to save the girls. Iruza takes the chance to teach this bloody Radel some tricks, but Yuya accidentally sees that Hitomi hasn't restored her gate's armor yet. He panics, then rushes outside immediately. Unfortunately, he sees that the legend gathered all the men of culture outside, and that's when the girls step out ready for the shots. It doesn't take long till the cultured men manage to take some nice shots, while Yuya gets to see the look on Hitomi's face. She is somehow enjoying it. On their way back, Iruza tells Yuya that she's borrowing Hitomi to spend some girl's time, and reassures him that he's safe. Nobody can touch him till the Destroyal event is over. At Yuya's place, once he opens the door, he is shocked to see that lion guy waiting for him, especially since Hitomi isn't with him. But a girl's voice rises telling Leo to step aside. He's scaring him. She introduces herself as the granddaughter of Mitsukado Zaibatsu's president, Yuzin, one of the 4 families that control Killing Bites, and gets into the subject directly. She is here to request him to withdraw from the Destroyal event. Yuya doesn't know what she's talking about since Hitomi hasn't told him anything yet. But the girl resumes her speech, saying that their honorable battleground has become a test field for that disgusting man called Shidu. So she asks him to withdraw to avoid killing the Radel. Yuya doesn't know what the fuck is going on, but he can tell that he is involved in some serious shit, and if he messes up, his ass won't be safe. The girl finally explains to him that the Destroyal event isn't a one-on-one fight, but a battle royale, and he himself will be participating in to control the Radel moves like a chess player. At a nearby cafe, Iruza warns Hitomi that one wrong move from that loser she's hanging with will lead to her death. But Hitomi reassures her not to worry. The stronger only takes control of the weak, so she will be able to move as she please with him in control. Back at the apartment, the girl is waiting for Yuya's reply, but he says that he can't withdraw without Hitomi's permission or she will kill him. This was enough for the girl to take her leave. She couldn't stay any longer as his stupidity might affect her. She looks at the old man in front of her and asks why he's letting Shidu do as he wishes. The old man is her grandfather. He tells her that he's just testing his worth, cause this Destroyal battle will be more bloody than usual. At the same time, the Ishida Zaibatsu's president was complimenting and thanking Mr. Shidu, while Shidu sat like a maniac there, making no reaction, and the man's wife's eyes were focused on him. After Hitomi returns, Yuya rushes to ask her something, but she cuts him saying they are participating in Killing Bites Destroyal, even though this fatty is in their team. But there's one problem left. The Destroyal is a 3-man team, which means they need to recruit 1 more member. Unfortunately, most of the people they asked said no before because the Ishida Zaibatsu doesn't have enough assets to secure an elite talent, and other Zaibatsus are also interfering with their plans. But it's not all dark. There is a single beast that hasn't joined any teams yet, and since the deadline is tomorrow, they have one last chance to make this work. At the same time, 2 girls were having a wild night. That's when the phone rang and cut their fun time. The caller told them that they got a little mission to do tomorrow. The next day, the last beast is a girl, which makes Yuya consider and try to confirm himself by saying she must be strong when she transforms like Hitomi. But she is actually a rabbit. She lost every single Killing Bites fight. The The only thing she's good at is digging her holes. So she is afraid to join the destroyal because she will just be food for other beasts. But Hitomi takes her turn to try and convince her to join. She tells her that everyone is good at something, she is so thick, and will make the perfect bait that ever exists. She refuses immediately and runs away. Hitomi then threatens Yuya to go after her and make her join. Yuya finds her at the park and offers her a carrot juice to chill. He doesn't know how to make her change her mind, but the girl starts to open up for talk. She was a total loser in everything she tried, and when she got the chance to become a therianthrope, she was excited to be good at something, but she ended up becoming a loser rabbit that matches her genes. Something shoots the juice in her hand and scares her behind the tree thinking that it's Yuya, but it turns out that it's a lizard girl, the horned lizard that shoots blood from her eyes at their enemies. The rabbit runs from her attacks and starts digging a hole, but she gets shot again and panics from the blood, then runs as fast as her thick thighs can do. But the lizard girl catches her, which makes the rabbit wonder how she is so fast like her. Suddenly, the lizard girl jumps away from an attack. It's Hitomi. She doesn't think twice and starts attacking again, but she gets shot from other places rather than the eye, making Hitomi fall back and take the shots for the rabbit. Seeing this, the rabbit uses her ears to scan the area and finds out that there is another girl at the back. Hitomi rapidly throws a crowbar at them. Then she takes the chance to slashes both of them. Finally, Yuya and the fatty catch after them and see Hitomi carrying the girl, but Hitomi reassures them that she didn't kill them. One of the girls is awake, and it turns out that both are twin sisters. Hitomi offers to not tell anyone about this if they say that it's the rabbit girl who defeated them, and they agree to this. The rabbit girl can't believe this. She is finally a winner, and happily tells Yuya she is joining the destroyal with them, then starts calling for the world to watch out. She is coming. The next day, a high-class ball was made for those involved with the Killing Bites match, for them to socialize and size themselves. The brute Leo, whose ass was beaten by Hitomi a couple of days back, made an appearance in front of the party and announced that he wasn't participating. Still, it took a second for Hitomi even to recall a fodder for her anime introduction, a man called Taiga. Of course, you now know he's gonna be the tiger, or you are just a loser like Yuya. Shows up to express his disappointment with Leo's withdrawal, calling him a loser for running, while his sister Iruza is trying to settle things. But Hitomi chimes in, calling both of them bitches, and she can handle Taiga just as well. Taiga didn't fall for such cheap provocation and just ignored her entirely, saying the upcoming event would just be child's play. At the corner of his eyes, Yuya caught sight of Mitsukato and Leo exchanging greetings with each other. After a few more exchanges, the main event of the party starts. The rules is explained as follows. 3-member team representing each of the Zaibatsas fight to the death in a survival match on a primitive island. Long story short, if they happen to be in the same square location, regardless of number of people, a battle would commence. During the explanation, the weak, unlucky, thick loser rabbit happened to walk into a crime scene, and she is about to be one herself. The ugly, disgusting piece of shit who can't keep it in his pants was interrupted, but turns out they are his partner in crime, and they are even in the same group. But suddenly Hitomi appeared, leaving a chance for the bunny girl to escape. And after a few classic bad guys exchanges, the budget baddies decided to leave it for the battlefield. Elsewhere, it seems like Leo has his own plans and posies, despite not participating himself. As the event was about to begin, the sponsors took their respective sits to spectate, and the therianthropes geared up for the battle. A group of men had to specially explain to the exhibitionist battle junkie Hitomi the rule of the tournament and the fact that she had to listen to Yuya's orders or she explodes due to the collar on her neck. In the lobby of sponsors, they direct their factions in areas they should move like playing a game of chess using the dice to roll. Mitsukato didn't miss a bit of berating our ugly, disgusting Yuya about his lack of experience. Yuya ended up rolling a 6. And every one of the other sponsors smirked inwardly, thinking the absolute amateur next to them would definitely miss out on the opportunity he had. Suddenly, Yuya made the exact perfect decision they had in mind, dropping all their jaws. Turns out, our not-so-smart main character made arrangements to follow whatever sign Hitomi made. Hitomi named it Don't use your fucking brain operation. This left a sponsor, Mr. Shinada, with a further impression of Hitomi, but Mitsukato was feeling ashamed to breathe the same air as the waste of space Yuya who couldn't think for himself and kept fucking smiling. Turns out, Radel might be a jack of all trades as they can move through unknown territories in the dark. Meanwhile, out of the shadows, an ugly bastard appears to challenge Hitomi, but she doesn't recognize him till he transforms into the bear. With that, the first battle on the island begins with the crowd going wild. The ugly bastard appearance in front of Hitomi wasn't a coincidence, as it was arranged by the Leo to take Hitomi out. He discovered the battle junkie is so paranoid that sees no need to dodge any attacks from losers. And of course, this term applies to everyone here, so Leo suggested that the ugly bastard claps her cheek with his strongest strike at the start. But she claps first, and the bear falls to the ground like the other losers, leaving everyone shocked, unable to move their jaws up again. It turns out that after their first meeting, the ugly bastard left an impression on her, and she was prepared. On the other side of the battlefield, the fatty was suddenly attacked from the back. Taiga, acting all smug, thought that was the end of it until Fatty got up and turned into a hippo. While putting up a bravado, he was secretly worried about the speed of the attack. That's when Glasses, one of the guys who schemed with the Leo guy, and the budget baddies leader appeared. It didn't take time for the hippo to realize that their sponsors made a deal to gang up on Taiga so they can take him down. The leader of the budget bad guys from before decided to fight solo against Taiga, and so he transformed into a crocodile. Crocodile guy lunged at Taiga, but he dodged and gave some clap back, tackling the croc, but before he could finish, croc guy escaped. Round 2 kicked off with some fancy footwork and exchanged blows. But suddenly Taiga got blindsided by a sneak attack from Four Eyes Gorilla. As Croc Guy questioned Four Eyes for butting in, Taiga delivered an uppercut, cranked up his speed and blindsided Croc Guy with an attack out of nowhere. He made sure to let them all know they were his bitch, cause the jungle is a tiger's natural element after all. While everyone was still vibing over Taiga's sick moves, his sponsor, Mr. Shinada, was busy plotting like a 4D chess master. Meanwhile, on another battlefield, Taiga's little sister Iruza was in hot pursuit of one of the budget baddies. She thought she had the W, but she was suddenly coiled up and penetrated by a snake, who happened to be the other member of the budget baddies gang. Trying to escape her predicament, she bit down the snake guy, but he slammed her to the ground. Still trying to get her footing, the lady in the disgusting trio punched her in the gut, telling her that her only choice was to beg for mercy, which she didn't guarantee would save her. On the other side of the battlefield, Taiga finally put his focus on Fatty. Just as the battle was about to begin, Mr. Shinada directed him to another battlefield. This was so he could help his sister. As Taiga was about to follow the orders, the croc guy came from nowhere and bit on Taiga's leg, preventing him from being able to follow the order. Using the opportunity, the croc did his twister move and damaged Taiga badly. Turns out the real 4D chess master was the budget baddie's sponsor, who had masterminded Iruza's ambush to bait Mr. Shinada into moving his strongest piece, so he could use the opportunity to hold Taiga down and let him explode due to being unable to follow the orders. Now it was Yuya's turn to move. Seeing everybody else tacit acknowledgement of the current situation, with all these eyes on him, Hitomi was waiting eagerly. At Iruza's location, the budget baddies were using her as a punching bag to warm up, and then she was left to the snake guy to start his clapping ceremony, even though he doesn't like the small melons, but he can use her as a warm-up because someone cut his fun time before the battle. But they look up to see a dark figure looking at them.